Hi, this is Sweet June. Right back at you with another interesting video topic coming up. It's such a beautiful day out here. I'm just decided to hang out here for a while. It's such a beautiful day. So I'm got some video topics that I was gonna cover, but um, haven't yet covered them. So we're gonna clock them in. I want to talk about being a grandmother. Um, I know I've stated in some of my other videos that I have two grandkids. I got eight. My granddaughter will be going on 8, and I have a grandson that he's 1.5. And I had him on here a couple of times. You guys have seen him. You look back in my videos. I had him on here. He's a little cutie. He's so adorable. And my granddaughter, she is such a little cutie, and she's um, 8 years old. And don't get me. Actually, I didn't find out about my granddaughter until she was almost 2 years old. I don't know if I ever said that, told you guys, but um, no, I think she was 2.5 when we found out about her, and I literally found out about her on Facebook. Go figure. And so I didn't get the opportunity. The bad part about my granddaughter is I didn't get the opportunity to bond with her from day one. Like my grandson, I've had all this time to create a bond with him, and to watch his little milestones and everything like that. And it's a little bit of a different experience when you get the opportunity to bond with them from day one, from birth. I actually seen him being born. I actually seen my grandson come out. So it was a beautiful experience. It's like being a grandmother is like having kids without actually, you know, having them coming out of your body and actually having the day to day. If you're not raising them, you don't have the day in and day out care of them. You don't have to sit up there and worry about uh, child care, getting them to the daycare and taking them to the doctor and all that because they got parents for all that. So being a grandmother is so much funner than being more fun than being a mom. I mean, if I knew that it was going to be this nice being a grandmother, um, I would have skipped over the kids and went straight to the grandmother part. Oh, that's not possible. I guess you have to have the kids first and then come the grandkids. Well, I could have been a step grandma to somebody. I could have adopted some grandkids. Would have skipped over the kids part and went straight to the grandmother part. So being a grandmother, I first, when I first found out about my granddaughter, because I didn't have the opportunity to, like, when my grandson, my son said his girlfriend was pregnant, and I had time to actually mentally prepare for being a grandmother again. I had to actually had 9 months to mentally prepare for it. But with my granddaughter, it was kind of sprung on me. Like one day I didn't have a grandchild, and the next day I was all of a sudden became a grandmother overnight. So I was still in my 40s, and so I was like, um, I'm too first. My first response was, I'm too young to be a grandmother. Really? I didn't want to be a grandmother in my 40s. So I'm not ready to be a grandmother. I mean, that was like my first initial thought. It's like, okay, because I didn't have time to mentally process it. I didn't have time to mentally process because it was this kind of one day I wasn't a grandmother, the next thing you know, I was a grandmother. So I had this grandchild out there that I didn't know about. So I'm like, wow, okay. So I didn't have time to, like my grandson. I had time to actually mentally prepare for being a grandmother again, and so it was just kind of sprung on me. So it took a while for me to mentally process, okay, I'm a grandmother, and get into grandma mode. So it took a while, and then we had to go through the process of because my granddaughter went 2.5 years without knowing her other side of the family. So um, it was a process. You know, we had to bond with her. We had to create a relationship with her. She had to get used to being around us, and it was a little um, touch and go at first. She wasn't used to being around us. She didn't know us, so we had to get used to her bond with her and creating a bond with her. And it's still a little bit of a process. Anytime you don't get the opportunity to bond from day one, then it's a little difficult. But a lot of progress has been made, you know. But I love her. I love her just like, you know, I just hate the fact that, you know, I didn't get an opportunity to bond with her when she was a baby. And I look at her little pictures, her baby pictures. I'm like, oh, I wish I was there. And her mother dragged her feet on getting the paternity test done. So I'm not going to go into all that, but she kind of dragged her feet on it. And so she didn't do it as early as she should have done it. I wish she had done it a lot sooner. With all that being said, but needless to say, you know, like I said, I love being a grandma. Um, you know, now that I've had time to mentally process it and everything, and you know, being a grandma is nice because you know you get the love on them and give them right back. But however, there is a flip side to being a grandmother. Um, with all that being said, the nicest part of being a grandmother is you know, you get to love on them and spend a little time with them, and then you give them back and send them back home. Um, the issue is that I would like to do that on my terms. I would like to be able to love on them and everything, you know, like okay, come go pick them up, you know, spend a little time with them, and then take them home. You know, they can spend a night occasionally and take them home. Do it on my terms when I'm prepared to do it. When I mentally have prepared myself. It's okay. I want to spend time with my grandkids. The problem is that when I get not so much as my granddaughter because she's older and you know she's school age and everything and her mother has three other children so you know she stays over here when she comes over here she stays the night but you know it's more like a you know we spend time with her you know and all that type of thing and I haven't babysitted her in quite some time you know because she's getting older and everything so I haven't babysitted her in quite some time but my grandson on the other hand um my son and his mother you know they want me to babysit quite often you know and when my son you know I'm not putting my son on blast or anything but when he gets my grandson you know when the mother drops him off and he's supposed to be watching them I wind up watching him and so I have a little bit of an issue with that you know I have an issue with that because I was a single mother for many years. You guys know I've stated in many videos that you know I was a single mother for many years, and my youngest son just turned 18. So I'm not a single mom. I'm officially a retired single mom, and pending empty nester. Nest is not empty yet, but pending. I'm a pending empty nester. Um, so I'm entering another phase of my life. I'm entering another chapter of my life, and I'm at the stage now where I'm at the a- place and age and stage in my life where I want to do me now. You know, I was a single mother for almost 30 years, raised kids on my two kids on my own, um, and did it for almost 30 years, and because my kids are 10 years apart. So I'm at a place in my life now where you know I want to do me. You know, I want to do me, and I like to have my what I call my me time. You know, and I like to do my me time, and so um, I like to I like a lot of me time now. You know, and so I want to have my grandkids on my terms. I want to have them on my terms and not be pushed on me. And so that the issue that I'm having is when, my son gets, my oldest son, he gets my grandson, and he wants to bring him over here and put him off on me, you know? And I have an issue with that because um, like I said, I love my grandkids. I'm crazy about my grandson and everything, but I want to spend time with him. And it's not that I don't want. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be a deadbeat grandmother or anything. It's not that I don't want to babysit at all. Period. Because I understand, the mom. His mom is working, and she's right now she's working two jobs, and actually she works at the same place I work, at the assisted living place where I work. She works there too. So she's a very hardworking young lady. I got to commend her with that. And so I don't mind helping out every now and again. I know how it is to be a single mother. I know it's rough, and I don't mind helping out every now and then. But when it gets to the point to where it's expected of me, I guess that's where I'm going with this. I guess when it's expected of me and when it's just sprung on me, like, okay, I need a babysitter. Boom, you know, can you watch them? There you go. You at home, and just because I'm at home doesn't mean I want to watch kids. You know, and that's something that I'm trying to get my oldest son to understand. It's like, well, just because I'm sitting here, well, they're thinking in their mind, well, she's sitting there, so she's at home. She ain't going nowhere. She ain't doing nothing. And especially now, I don't have no car, so I really ain't doing nothing. But I'm not doing anything, but I am doing something. Just like yesterday, I did some extensive cleaning around the house, some well needed extensive cleaning. Clean my walls, vacuum my floors, doing the thorough vacuuming on my floors, clean my walls and everything, and clean windows. And so I did a little bit of extensive cleaning yesterday. And so if I had had my grandson, then I babysitted him earlier in the day, you know. But if I had him at that time when I was doing my cleaning, it would have been a little bit more difficult to watch him and then extensively clean the house at the same time, you know. And so, um, but then I have other times where um, I'm here. Yes, I am here. And sometimes, they might come in. My oldest son might come over and he see that I'm posted in front of the TV set. Well, that's my me time. Whether it's me sitting down reading a book or watching TV. A lot of times I'm doing homework and I'm watching YouTube. I don't just watch YouTube for entertainment. I watch YouTube for homework. I get video ideas. I get video topic ideas. I check other people's channels, do a little research, kind of find out what other people are doing, check out their editing techniques and everything to kind of find out what I need to be doing and what type of changes that I can implement on my channel to increase my channel, to improve my channel. So it's entertainment slash homework. So um so I might be doing that, or I might be reading a book, or doing my Bible study, or just because I'm sitting here doesn't mean that I'm not doing something, you know. And so I think that's a lot of times they think if I'm sitting here, then I can. She ain't doing much sitting there, but that doesn't mean that I want to babysit. So I think that's the issue that I'm having when it's expected on me and when it's just sprung on me. That's what the issue that I'm having. And sometimes my oldest son had the audacity to come to me one day talking about, you need to just scoop. He's talking about my granddaughter. You need to just scoop her up sometime. I'm like, how do you get to tell me when I can spend that I need to be spending time with my granddaughter? I'm thought about I can spend time with her on my terms, not according to your timetable. So he had the audacity. I said I wasn't aware that I was required to pick her up at specific times or whatever. I mean, there's been times he said, well, he wanted to pick her up, but he wasn't able to do it, so I was able to go get her or whatever. But um, I just thought that I was kind of I was a little messed up behind that because I was like, okay, excuse me, how do you get to tell me when to spend time with my grandkids. You try to throw some requirements on there when so see it's these expectations that get people in trouble. When people go to expecting stuff, all these expectations is what gets people in trouble. And see, that's the thing. It's expected of me. And I'm I raised my kids. My thought is I raised my kids. I was a single mother for many years. I raised my kids with little well, one dad, little help, the other dad, no help at all. Okay, I did it on my own for almost 30 years. So I figured in my mind, I raised my kids. I didn't already raise my kids and took care of my responsibility as a mother like I was supposed to do. Been there, done that. Don't have to worry about that. That chapter of my life is over. I'm happy about it. Now it's time for me to do me. Whether it's sitting down, watching TV, reading a book, or whatever, it doesn't matter. Or taking a walk. I'm still doing me. And so when they bring my grandson over there, my son says, well, Mom, can you watch him while I go do this or do that? I'll be like, the first thought that comes in my head is, what about my me time? you know? And so they got in their minds, they got these, oh, I need a break. I'm like, what is it with you young people and you need a break? I've never had no break with I didn't hardly have no, only time I had, I went to work and I came home. You know, I didn't really have a lot of mommy time when I was raising my kids. I didn't have like some single mothers have what you call a support system. I didn't have a lot of support system when I'm just keeping it 100. I didn't have a lot of support system when I was raising my kids. So I didn't have a lot of mommy time, you know. I didn't have a whole lot of I had some, but not a whole lot of it. I was with, when I wasn't working and stuff, I was here with my kids. And so they got this thing in their mind where I didn't have like a weekly thing where I would just go spend a few hours by myself. That's what they have in their mind. They're like, okay, well, I need a break. I'm like, oh, what is it? I told my oldest son, what is it with you young people and you want to break all of us? You want all these breaks. I said, I don't know what that means. I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. 'Cause I never really got mommy breaks like that, you know? So it's like expected. They want someone to watch the kids. And I get it that, being a single parent is stressful. I get it. I get it. And yes, you do need breaks. I needed breaks when I was raising my kids, but I didn't always, most of the time, I never got it. Because I didn't have someone to say, okay, June, go spend a few hours doing whatever, go shopping or whatever. I got the kids on a weekly basis, or I didn't have someone that I can just drop my kids off for a few hours while I go shopping or just go get a few hours of sleep. I didn't have it like that when I was raising my kids. So when they come at me like that, I'm like, okay, what is that? I don't know what that means. Well, y'all talking about all these breaks. So I mean, it's I'm not trying to sound like a deadbeat grandmother here, but I want to spend time with my grandkids on my terms. And it's not that, yes, every now and then, yes, if you need someone to babysit, you don't have nobody else to watch them, then yeah, I'll watch them. I'm not saying I don't never want to babysit my grandkids, but when it's just sprung on me all of a sudden, like, here, I got something I got to do. That's what I got a problem with. That's what I have an issue with. So let me know in the comment section if you guys are grandparents, if you feel the same way. Do you want to be bothered with your grandkids? Do you want to spend time with your grandkids on your terms? Um, and if what your older kids, how do they feel about that? Um, you know, let me know in the comment section, what your grandparent experience is. But don't get me wrong, I love being a grandmother, but I want to be able to spend time with them on my terms and babysit them on my terms, not according to their terms and time schedules. That's the only this issue I'm having with it. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Let me know, share your grandparent experiences and how you feel about being a grandparent. I got some more interesting video topics coming up. This is Sweet You.